Alexander Isak to Liverpool promises to be one of the greatest transfers the Premier League has ever seen, and with some of the most reliable journalists announcing that Liverpool is preparing a record bid to Newcastle, it seems like it's just a matter of time for him to put on the red shirt. But why did the news about his departure from the Geordies literally break the internet, and why is every Liverpool fan, including me, having wet dreams about it? Liverpool already spent near 300 million this transfer window. At some point it has to stop happening, and maybe Ekitike was the last in line in order for Liverpool to not be without any traditional attackers next season. Cool, but it's not true. Liverpool are going big, and Isak, he's just the final signature on the "we're winning the league" contract. Isak is one of the most prolific and complex forward players on the market. No wonder everybody wants him. There are genuinely just a couple other strikers which have it all, and I'm not sure anyone else is changing or even close to changing clubs. Isak and Gyökeres are easily the two top center forwards moving this year, and you can call me biased because I very much could be, but the Eritrean is the better choice between them in terms of getting the full package. Shooting, he has it with extreme precision. He can do it from both short and long distances, and somehow he does it with a next level efficiency. If we take a look at his stats just from the EPL, we see that so far he has recorded 40.72 expected goals and scored 54. Yes, that's a margin of 14 goals or 35% over his XG. Stats like these can always lie, but it's a nice ground to stay on, especially when you have 3 full seasons at the club. Liverpool is in terrible need of someone reliable up front, and that's where Ekitike and Isak come in. Both are incredibly good at delivering results, and even more, putting themselves in situations where they could receive the ball and score. They're generally pretty much alike, which you can easily tell by the fact that the Geordies already showed interest in him as an Isak replacement, although the Reds contacted him and then the race was pretty much over before it started. And I say that with absolutely no disrespect, as right now the red part of River Mersey is, in my opinion, among the top 3 if not the most tempting side to join in world football. Freshly won the Premier League with a brand new manager who showed that he can make the most out of the squad and did so without a single transfer. I exclude Chiesa because he was more of a last resort backup choice who we knew was probably not going to work out. Another thing that makes them similar is the ability to play on the ball and create situations for their teammates. They're not just waiting around to receive the ball. They get it and they move with it. That opens spaces for the other players, and knowing that you have the freedom and skills to move around the opposition box makes it also easy for you to find unoccupied spaces and exploit them. That's where I believe Isak is miles away from every other possible striker on the market right now. His dribbling is immaculate, his vision helps him give this last needed touch to assist a teammate, and if we look at his expected assists, we will again see his performance is over the bar. 6.37 XA and 9 assists. So creativity is not something unknown for Isak. He sees and interprets the game as it is going, and that's something not everybody has, but it's extremely crucial if you wish to make it big in football, and it is highly regarded, especially in the league with the fastest tempo and dynamics. And yeah, if you don't agree with me about the EPL being the fastest league in Europe, I'm sorry, just turn the TV on, watch an actual EPL match, then compare. You're welcome. I can sit here and glaze Isak all day long because he has all the needed characteristics of a top player. From his speed, through his height, shot efficiency, vision, all the way to the ability to adapt to the situation he's in. But what really begs the question is, where do you put this guy in Liverpool's formation? If you're enjoying in-depth commentary videos like this, it would mean the world to show me support by subscribing to the channel and following my other social media accounts in which I post daily Liverpool content. They're in the description, thanks in advance. Liverpool just bought Ekitike. They can play both in the striker position. Well, I just don't agree. Of course, nobody knows how Liverpool will line up for the upcoming season. There are so many changes that if somebody tells you they know what Arne Slot is going to do, they're blatantly lying. There are, however, a couple of ways that the Reds can implement all their firepower. Both strikers can be used by putting Ekitike on the left, for example. You can also put him behind Isak as a cam and put Wirtz on the left, and it will be familiar for him as he plays there for Germany. We can even switch formations and use both of them at the same time as 2 strikers. But maybe the most possible option of them all is to just have 2 top strikers who can replace each other when one is not having a good game, and overall to just rotate and keep them fresh, which was one of Liverpool's biggest problems last year. After the emotionally devastating loss to PSG by penalties, I think the fatigue kicked in and Liverpool did not look the same until the end of the season. Now Isak and every other signing so far grants Arne Slot the ability to keep his squad rested and sharp, especially if the Reds play more games by progressing further in the competitions. This is Slot's team, and we gotta respect that. I've been hearing a lot of opinions that say, isn't Liverpool overkilling it by signing so offensively oriented players and by spending so much money? They don't need 2 strikers, it is a mistake. One thing is certain though, it is not a mistake. Of course, the strategy may prove to be wrong and it may not work out, but the Reds have proved in the last years that they make no sudden risky moves and they discuss their choices thoroughly. We saw what Arne Slot can do with the team Klopp left him. Now it is time to see what he can do with his own team. And Alexander Isak seems like the type of player that fits perfectly into the leadership role that Salah will leave empty after 2 seasons. With his 25 years of age, he is mature enough to learn to lead a team. He's ambitious as he wants to win the biggest trophies and he's already used to what it feels like to play in the EPL, where, as I already said, everything is different. It would be strange of me though not to address one of the few negative aspects of his game. There is no such thing as a perfect player. His injury record is worrisome because he has missed almost 40 matches for club and country ever since he has been at Newcastle, which is 3 years. One of the most important things to look at is a player's availability, just because it is crucial for his overall form on the pitch. If you're consistently battling injuries, then it gets extremely hard to compete at the highest level. The other detail that we should look at is his defensive work. No matter how we look at it, that's one of his weak spots. Now, do we need our striker to be demolishing opponents in our own box? Absolutely no. But having the instincts to help your colleagues in defense can prove really important in particular situations. Looking at it from the bright side, Arne Slot addressed a couple of details in our performance all throughout last year, and 2 of them were building players' fitness and not taking unnecessary risks with them, and teaching everybody on the pitch to participate in defense. We saw massive improvement on that part in each and every Liverpool player, and I genuinely believe that the same is gonna happen again with our new signings. I just don't see why it wouldn't. And if Isak manages to polish these aspects of his football while improving all of his others, he may become the next big leader at Anfield. He already shared in multiple interviews that our stadium is among some of the best places to play in the world because of the atmosphere that the Cup Pies create. Not only that, he will be able to play among some of the best players on the planet, and his team's endless ambition needs a clinical player like him to accomplish the biggest things in football. Or at least, that's what I believe. That's why Alexander Isak at Liverpool is scary.